You might have seen in a recent episode that I'm now fitting this. It's a new water purification system. As I said in the episode, we don't have bottled water on Fair Isle. It doesn't make any sense to do it because it's so heavy to cart on and off. I don't want all that waste plastic as well. Really bad idea to do that in a hot climate using so much water. So, you know, we've never done that. What we've done is have a filter system which is under the sink here. I mean, this is a really fine filter that takes out everything down to bacterial level, and it does work because we haven't been ill in the 5 years that we've been on board. It's all been absolutely fine. But the problem is this: the flow rate is pathetic actually, and it happens really quickly. It's better than that when you first put a filter on, but very quickly it goes very slow. You have to keep getting these filters. They're £50 a time. So yeah, I went on a recent trip back to the UK. I decided, because a lot of people recommended it, to fit this. We've got the ArrowMAX 2. This is Acuva ArrowMAX 2. So 2 means that it's gonna, or it should deliver 2 litres a minute. We'll find out when we put it on. They do a smaller version, a 1 litre per minute, and a 5 as well. But I think this will do us. You can see what comes in the box. It has that, which has the lights in it. They're ultraviolet lights and they're LED, so you know that's great. This is the new technology that makes this sort of work well for boats and RVs and stuff, because it's hardly any draw. It's 1 amp that you take, and that's only just when it's running. It doesn't take anything, and you know, virtually nothing on standby. So yeah, you have that unit. It comes with a little T-piece, so you can have it tapped off, so you can have the normal water going through the faucet that I'm going to, the existing faucet, and it'll tap off to go through this faucet. So that'd be better than the system I've got, which just goes through the one tap at the moment, which means that you know, you could get cross contamination from the hot tap, but this would be completely separate because I'll tap off it. It then goes through the pre-filter, then the UV unit. This basically has strong LED UV lights that blast down the internal pipes and kill off any bacteria that's there. Then there's the flow restrictor to fit. These all have the easy push-in connectors. Then it's just a matter of plugging the mini jack lead that comes from the faucet into the box and connecting the flying lead that comes out of it to a suitable 12-volt source. Okay, so let's get this thing fitted. There's not much to it really. Got to put the new faucet, which I'm actually going to put on here. I'm going to replace the hand pump here, which is just there in case you lose all power and you need to actually get the water out of your water tanks. You can, it's a little hand pump to do that, but it's not something we've ever used. It's there for emergencies if you lost all power, but I mean, we have the Bluetti as our reserve thing there. I've got other reserves as well. The chances of us being without any power pretty much zero, so I don't think we really need it there. And these granite tops are really thick, so I don't really want to drill another hole in there, and there's a lot of space on there either. This one's a saltwater tap, which which is useful, and I want to keep it. So yep, there's that to fit. That's the sort of the major thing for me. The other things are just the box, which is very easy. I've got a little space where that can go just here. I'll reroute some things and put that in. The filters here can come out, the old filters, and we've got the new filter here which has a little thing on it, so just screw it to the wall. That should all be very easy. The connectors are all these sort of the push fit easy things, so like the one here, this is the in and out for the UV. It just literally pushes in, cut it to length, job done. And the tee off point is the same. It's made for that sort of 13mm push fit type things, and I mean, on our boat, older boats, it's, you know, it hasn't got that. It's got this armoured pipe, so I managed to find a few on board adapters, so I can do that. I can just push that in there, and then have the flexible cable off the end. I've done a similar thing with that one. So yeah, should be fairly straightforward. Let's get it done. Obviously this involves the usual boat gymnastics, and I actually did change the way I was going to fit this. I was looking at the pamphlet. I had looked at all the information online, and there was a discrepancy here. The online version was saying that you could fit it any way around you like, but the pamphlet said you can't fit it vertically. So I actually sent an email through to them, and I got a response back within an hour, which I thought was pretty impressive. And they said, yeah, the pamphlet actually needs to be updated. They have improved the system, and it now doesn't matter which way around you put the unit. So do check the online manual. There's a link in the description. That's going to get updated before anything else. Okay, so that's it. OTAP is out. It did require the creation of a brand new tool. I've had to hammer those things together, so then they're never coming apart again. That's going to be just for these taps from now on. New tap, will just slot straight in. The hole is good, it's the right sort of size, so it can be anything up to about, I don't know, what's that, 1.25 inches, about sort of 2.5 centimetres where the seal is on the bottom. So obviously you have to feed the wire through first because it needs a power source, then that goes through, and then there is a spacer, what I've done with it there. So that screws on the bottom, so it gives a place for the wire to come out and just do it up from there. So yeah, hopefully that should be okay. They've designed the hose system well. This DIN rail just clips in, so if you put it on first and then offer it up, you can just mark whereabouts it's going to be, and then when you take the unit off, you can actually mark where the holes need to be and drill the DIN rail on, and then just clip the unit back on, so it makes it really nice and easy. It clips on well, it's not going to fall off, but I thought it might slide down with the movement of the boat, so actually use the little rubber that you get in the kit to pre-fill the filter as a stopper to put underneath it, so it can't slip down now. The only joint that isn't a push fit in the system is the one to the tap. This is a compression fitting, so there is a little insert that you put in first and an olive type shim that goes round, and then you can screw it up and it won't crush the pipe. Then just put the electrical cable through the hole in the spacer, and then thread it up through the pipe and screw onto the tap. So that's it, taps on. You just do that up with your fingers. It's quite good, it doesn't need any sort of spanner on it. And then to actually get the pipe on, to do that up, you can either slide a box spanner up the pipe and onto the nut, or I use this, which is a sort of a wrench with different spanners on, and you just slide that up and you get enough purchase then to do it up. Doesn't need to be too tight. So this is how it looks when it's done. You've got a shut-off valve here on the T-piece, and the pipe then goes up into the unit, out of the unit and up to the tap. And then you can see the two electrical cables, one comes down from the tap and the other one has to be fed into some power. So that's it, all done. You'll see as I turn it on, you get this cool blue light there. It's only on actually when the water's flowing, and that's to signify that the UV lights are actually energized and your water is going to be completely pure. It tastes just like normal mineral water. There's no taint to it. I mean, that's down to the filters. They do have this pre-filter which is there. It takes chlorine out and any heavy metals and things. There's two different grades you can get. So if you're in an area where you might have heavy metals and things in the water, then you can have one that deals with that. But actually on a boat, I mean, certainly if you had a water maker, there's going to be none of that. So you can just get the cheapest ones. They should last for forever. Actually, I mean, it's not like the filter system we had before. It's not really fine because it's not trying to take out the bacteria. That was the problem with that. That's why the flow rate became very slow, because the filter has to be really fine to be able to do that. In this system, the bacteria just goes straight through it. It's killed by the UV, which is after the filter, and it needs the filter, because if there's any dirt in the water, bacteria could actually be hiding behind that, those bits of dirt, and not actually be killed. So it needs it to be clean. So yeah, goes through. UV, I've looked at a test that came online of someone that independently tested this, and the results of that were very good. They tested it first with some river water, which did have some bacteria in it, but the system took it out completely. And then they tried it again with some really heavily contaminated water. I mean, this system isn't supposed to be there to treat contaminated water, but it did clear it completely. So, that's just really good. Now, if you're thinking that bacteria in drinking water is just a problem for remote areas, then think again. It can happen anywhere. In fact, several hundred people died fairly recently in Milwaukee after a flood when cryptosporidium got into the water there. But I mean, there's a whole list of different bacterias with all different things that it might do to you. It might just be a case of deli belly, but you don't want to be getting these sorts of things. And actually, in the UK fairly recently, all the marinas have started taking away their hose pipes, because that's one of the things that can be a problem. Water sitting in a hose pipe for any period of time can get all sorts of nasty things in there, including things like Legionnaires, which is pretty serious. And they don't want to have the responsibility of that. So they've removed them. And what does that mean? It means you use your own. Well, at least the one at the dockside has probably had water through it pretty much every day, whereas the one that you're using has probably been pulled out of your sail locker, hasn't been used for a month. So, it's not better, it's worse for you. The marinas are doing it to protect themselves, not you. Well, that's just the modern world, I'm afraid. So the message is you really have to look after yourself, and if you really want to geek out on this stuff, then the World Health Organization has produced quite a lot of good material on getting safe drinking water. Finally then, just a quick test on the flow rate. Obviously this is going to be dependent on the sort of pressure you've got. So I think ours is fairly standard, but it took a little bit longer than 10 seconds. They claim the ArrowMAX 2 will fill a glass in 10 seconds and the ArrowMAX 5 will take 4. So if you want good flow, then just err on the side of the bigger units. Well, I hope this has been some use to you. If you are thinking of buying one of these units, then just have a look in the description. There's a link direct to Accuva in there with a code, so you'll get some money off as well. So cheers.